Hello, it's Christmas book club time. I'm very excited to be talking to you about Maybe Next Christmas by Emma Hetherington. This is what we've all been reading over the past few weeks, which has been such a delight. I've really enjoyed it, and I really hope you have too. I feel like this was something, like this was just what the doctor ordered. I listened to this on audio, hence why I'm holding up a Kindle. I listen to most of my books on audio. I read most of my books on audio, which I really love. I use the BorrowBox app, which is linked to my library, which is great. So you can listen to audiobooks for free. So if that's your bag, then grab hold of that if your library provides that. They also do ebooks on there as well, if that's your jam. But obviously the library has paperbacks inside it. So you can pretty much get anything you want from the library. This I loved. I listened to this actually on Audible, and I really enjoyed this. So thank you for all of you who voted for this one as our choice, because this was just so sweet. I finished this about a week ago and I realised that my memory needed refreshing. So I went in and listened to a few bits and bobs, and I thought we'd kickstart our discussion off today and see how it all felt and whether we'd all had enough time to finish it. But if not, then come back to this video when you have. There's always spoilers in the book club videos, so if you haven't read the book, then stop now, come back in a little while. So I made a few notes about things that I loved, and one thing that I didn't love so much, which I will come to in a second. So firstly, I loved Ollie and I loved Bea. I thought they were lovely. I thought they were just so special, and I really love how they narrate their own bits of the book. I really like seeing it from both their points of view, which is something I love writing in that style as well. So I really love it when other authors do the same thing. And I really loved, you could really feel just their characters. They were so different as characters. He was so funny, Ollie was so funny, and Bea was just really sweet, really nice, not super loaded with anxiety, and just really, she was a girl who knew her own destiny. And I find sometimes when you sort of read novels like this, that sort of modern day novels, that the women sometimes don't know their own destiny, do they? They just kind of, they're floating around quite a bit. But she was really career driven, really goal oriented, and she really knew what she was about, Bea, and I really liked her for that. I really loved the beginning a bit, which was very comparable to a Richard Curtis novel, when they meet at the airport and it's all very sort of hustle and bustle, and I could really get the sense of how the airport was just so busy, but these two people had connected so beautifully, and they were just so friendly with each other. I mean, you can tell they're Irish, because two Londoners just wouldn't have talked to each other in the way they talk to each other, I don't think anyway. So I loved how they sort of met and they sort of found themselves eating Christmas dinner together, which I thought, it just felt really realistic. And things like that can often feel a little bit sort of too contrived, but I really loved how they kind of got together like that. It just felt really natural, and just the chemistry that they had. The chemistry just sort of fizzed off the page, and I really found myself rooting for them together. But obviously, you know, from the blurb, you know that things are going to go a little bit wrong for them, and they're not going to get together, at least not for a really long time. So, but that felt really real as well. And how they left each other at the airplane like that, I was like, no, I just, you know, you just don't want that to happen. I really rooted for them from the very second they met each other, which I loved. I loved that sort of spark, that chemistry, that banter. It was really good. The cast of characters, I loved all the people she worked with in the hotel. I thought they were fantastic. They were so different and so varied and so funny and interesting. And I really loved how they had that link. Remember, this is a spoilers alert. So they had that link between the hospital, the person who's in the hospital and the person who's in the hotel, and how it becomes the same person. But Emma Hetherington, the novelist, she hit that so well. I genuinely didn't see that coming. Even when he suggests, Mr. Gates suggests, oh, maybe you should go to Kensington Gardens and just wander around there, and to Ollie, and of course Bea goes around there and walks the hotel dog around there. And I was like, well, that's a lovely idea. What a good thing to have. And I don't know how I didn't see that coming. I really didn't see that coming at all. And then let me have a think. What else did I like? I loved how it wasn't too depressing, which for a Christmas book, you don't want it to be too depressing, but I have read a few Christmas books where it's just been so bleak and so dark that you kind of forget that you're reading a Christmas book, and you end up thinking, oh God, this is quite sad. And even though Ollie's father passes away and he inherits the cottage, and it can be all the things he wants, if only he'd let himself want those things, even then it still wasn't too depressing. It was done with a real lightness of touch, and to be able to write about death with a real lightness of touch and not feel so saddened by it, I felt was really well done. I loved how they re-met again in Kensington Gardens. I absolutely love that. I could feel that was coming after the whole link had been made, and I was just waiting for it. And actually, one of you lovely lot messaged me and said, "Oh, they're meeting in Kensington Gardens," and it reminded me of the sort of scene in my book, The Dressmaker's Secret. I was like, "No, don't tell me. I haven't got that far in the book yet." So I was really excited when that happened. I was like, "Oh, I get it. It is quite similar," and I really liked that. It was really lovely, and I felt that sort of Mr. Gates link, it could have been so coincidental. And I think if written maybe from another author had written that sort of thing, you might have gone, oh no, I'm sorry, these two people can't meet like this again because of this guy that they both know. That's way too coincidental in a city as large as London. But I think it was set up so well, and it was brought in, the two characters being one was obviously not brought in early, but the two characters and getting to know them was brought in quite early. So when it converges and it turns out they are the same person, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I really like that. That's really, really beautifully done. You could really see that. There was one thing I wasn't massively a fan on, and only one thing at all, and it was that when her ex-boyfriend, B's ex-boyfriend, basically says to her, what are you hoping to achieve? Why, what are you running from? What are you running to? You could have basically had this life with me and you chose not to. And I thought, yeah, oh yeah, he actually might be quite right about that. And I didn't want to think that. I didn't want to think, actually, if B had gone to live with him in Ireland and they had got married and started a whole life there, and she could have set up a little Airbnb in the farmhouse somewhere, she could have probably been really happy. And I didn't like that. I didn't want to think that she actually could have been really happy with somebody else. But again, I think it's about timing. I love to say that everything that happens in my life is about luck and timing. And I think that's probably, I tried to apply that to this, where I thought, oh, B has had, it's luck and timing, right? She got with this guy and he was lovely, and then timing said that she couldn't be with the farmer because she wanted to go and forge a career path in London. And I totally believe that. And I think forsaking love for a career is a really, really hard decision to make. And I could understand and I could get on board with why she'd done that. And then when the farmer sort of reiterated that, I was like, no, I don't want to know that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to think that she could have actually been happy with him. And then I thought, oh, luck and timing. Again, with Ollie, she was saying, oh no, I don't want to be with you. I can't be with you. We should just let this go because I live in London and you're now going to live in Ireland and it's just not going to work. And then, of course, she kind of got her head around the fact that it was going to work and that they were going to, start an Airbnb and that sort of thing up together. And I thought, no, that's it. That's the timing. The timing was that he was the right person for her at that time. And that's where I kind of felt that they were the perfect couple and they were supposed to be together. And you are supposed to root for them to be together after they get together. So I was really pleased about that. And I just felt like it was just such a lovely, lovely Christmassy novel. I don't think I realised the passing of time. I don't think I realised that it had been a year since they'd first met until we kind of roll around again to another Christmas. I thought, oh gosh, it's been a whole year. And it felt like it flew, like it was a really well handled sort of space-time continuum. It was a really well handled sort of set of months. I thought, oh, I just didn't realise the months were disappearing like that, because although they hardly saw each other for a lot of the book, you didn't feel like they were out of each other's lives a lot. And maybe that's because you're listening to it or reading it from two people's points of view. So they're always reminding themselves about each other and they're always thinking about each other, and they kind of bring you, the reader, along the journey with them. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm really sad that this is our last Christmas book, because we're going to move on for our January book. And I think I'll take a vote on what we read. But I'm quite sad because I'm feeling really festive and really Christmassy now. So I'm really sad that this is like the last Christmas book we're going to read together. But same time next year. But until then, I would love to hear what you thought of the book. Head back over to my Substack where we're having our conversation. And yeah, tell me what you thought. Put a comment back under this video. Either here on YouTube, or if you prefer, come join us on our Substack if you're not there already. There's a link in my bio somewhere here on YouTube, and we're just hosting a lovely Christmassy book club this month, and then obviously in January it'll just go back to being a lovely cozy book club, and it's free to join and it's really commercial. We're reading, kind of page turners or sort of books that you'll see on the shelves that should be easy to get hold of. But yeah, so far I'm really loving this. This is working quite well, and I hope you think it is too. So yeah, come on over, join me and let me know what you thought of the book. All right, till next time.